guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you 10 of the most important numbers that I would suggest that you really focus and pay some attention to in the first 5 years of growing your business. So I'm going to be sharing those 10 tips with you in today's video, but make sure that you hang around till the end because I've got a free download for you as well that will give you my little kind of sticky note exercise. It's a really simple, fun exercise that you can do to really help to improve those ebbs and flows, those peaks and troughs, that feast and famine approach to cash flow in your business. So stay tuned. And I'm really excited to bring a video to you this morning about the 10 numbers that you should be focusing on in your business. Now, when I was sitting kind of thinking about what are the 10 key numbers that I track in my business, there's actually more than 10, but I'm just going to share 10 with you because sometimes I think otherwise it can get really overwhelming. And I would suggest that these are the 10 things that would be useful for you to track in your business if you're in the first 5 years of business. Beyond 5 years, I would suggest there's probably some other important numbers for you to be adding into this mix. But here we go. Here are my 10 tips, 10 things that I think you should be focusing on in your business. Are you ready? So first of all, let me just say, before I go into these top tips, I was never a numbers girl. And I talked about this on my personal profile yesterday. I got a C in maths at school. I was never particularly good with numbers. I'm still not great with numbers, if I'm honest. I'm not a technical person. And I've been through pension transfer qualifications and I still wouldn't class myself as a technical person. And I think that sometimes we have this fear that if we're not good with numbers, that we can't track it in our businesses. And I think that that's completely incorrect. You know, you don't have to be a numbers girl. You don't have to be a numbers person to be able to track numbers in your business. But I think sometimes we have this fear of judgment, don't we? That, you know, oh, well, this little inner critic comes out and, well, I'm not very good with numbers. So, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. And we feel like we should have just figured this out. So, you know, you don't have to have this stuff figured out. Like this, everything is a journey. Everything is, we learn as we go. Okay, ebbs and flows of business. Good morning, Donna. So are you ready? So tip number one then is to think about your conversion figures. So when I say your conversion figures, you generally want to know what's working and what's not working in your business. So conversion figures could look like, for example, looking at where your sales have come from last week and looking at where your leads were generated and looking at which ones have converted. So maybe you've launched a free download and you want to go in and have a look at which ones of those are converting into sales. What's your what they call nurture sequence? So when someone downloads something, what are you then emailing them? How are you communicating with them to build value and engagement? And which ones of those are converting and which ones are not? So I think last year I probably put out about a dozen downloads. And recently we did a review actually of which ones of those were converting and which ones weren't. And now that was great for the business because we could identify, okay, these ones obviously work really, really well. People really like these ones, but these ones not so much. And it is a bit of a trial and error sometimes. So what are your conversion figures? Having a look at what's coming in, what leads are coming in and what are converting as sales. Now, if you're running a small business, you can just do this with pen and paper. If you're running a slightly bigger business, then using some customer relationship management systems or CRM systems can really help you with this management information data. So that's the first figure that's really important to be thinking about is your conversion figures. And then you want to do more of what's converting. If something's converting really well, do more of that. The second number that I would suggest then that you track is where your leads are actually coming from. So again, I do this with pen and paper every week. I use my CRM data and my email data, but I also I do it on a manual review of this. And I think that's important for me because it just means I can get it in my head because I'm not a numbers person. So I don't like looking at spreadsheets particularly. So looking at where your leads are coming from. So are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from Instagram? Are they coming from LinkedIn? Are they coming from Twitter? Are they coming from recommendations? Sometimes you might not even know where they've come from. And that's the scary place to be in business. You want to know where they're coming from. So think about when a lead comes into your business, how are you actually asking where they heard about you? Do you have a question, like an onboarding question? Is it in a questionnaire perhaps? When you're on a discovery call with somebody, do you ask them, where did you hear about us? And, you know, are you making a note of that? Are you just making a note of it on a piece of paper that goes in the client folder, or are you logging that on your CRM system? So finding out where your leads are coming from is really important. That's the second one. The third number that's really important is to look at your organic social media growth. So again, in my planner every week, I track all of my numbers. So at the start of the week, I look at where my Facebook page is, my group, my membership, my podcast downloads, my blogs, so my website traffic, all of the different platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram. I look at all of them. YouTube is another social media platform that we're looking to really grow in the next few months. So you want to see what your organic growth is. Now, up until last year, most of my social media traffic came from Facebook. That was the main place that I would use to communicate my content, and still is. I still say that Facebook is where I will spend the majority of my time. But you want to have a look at what that organic social media growth is. You also want to have a look at your website traffic. So what is that where is that traffic coming from? What are the keywords that people are searching for? Where are people going on your website? How long are they staying on your website for? What pages are they checking out? So you want to be looking at your website traffic as well, because again, that's going to convert into your leads and then convert into sales. The fifth metric then to look at is your emails. So you want to have a look at how many people are signing up to your emails. How many emails are they opening? Which ones are opening more than others? So your click rates, your open rates. And just, once a week, just go into your emails and your email system, whatever you use. We use Active Campaigns, but have a look at your open rates. Which ones are people opening? Which ones are people not opening? Maybe you could do a split test and resend that email to people who didn't open it, but maybe change the title. And the title can have a big difference in terms of click rates and open rates, but you might want to do some split tests. And this could be something you could outsource to a virtual assistant, for example. The sixth number then to think about is your daily sales. Now, the next three tips, actually, a lot of people recommend you do this on a weekly or a monthly basis. I'm a huge believer in doing things daily, particularly if you don't feel like you're very good at knowing your numbers, because this will get you good at knowing your numbers. So every single day, what I would encourage you to do is go into your bank account every single day and have a look at your sales. Number 7 is your expenses. And then number 8 is your reoccurring revenue. So some of you may be running courses or memberships or masterminds, or you may have reoccurring ongoing income. I want you to be tracking these numbers daily, whether that's in a notepad or wherever that is. But really bringing some consciousness to your sales, your expenses, and your reoccurring. Now, the reason it's really important to think about your sales and your expenses is because you want to look at your net profit, because whatever's left after your sales minus your expenses is your profit. Now, for those of you that have heard about the profit first model, the profit first model reverses that model, and it talks about sales minus profit equals expenses, i.e. your income coming into your business minus what you pay yourself, because that's the most important thing, is your profit, equals what you have left to manage and operate your business on. And it really gets you focused on expenses. But from a simple perspective, just track your sales, track your expenses, and then, which then leads on to tip number 9, actually, which is looking at your return on investment analysis. So what I mean by that is simply just looking at all your expenses on a weekly basis, and reviewing, is that worth that money? Is it giving me a return on investment? If it's not, then get rid of it or review it, switch it, make it somewhere that maybe you could reduce the cost, switch or a ditch kind of approach. But return on investment is really important in your business. And how many of you potentially got direct debits and things that you've just kind of forgotten about? So tip number 6, daily sales. Number 7, tracking your daily expenses. Number 8, looking at your reoccurring income, because that's going to give you that financial stability in times where you've got ebbs and flows in cash flow. And then tip number 10 is to focus on your energy and what are you focusing on. So again, on a daily basis, energy flows where attention goes. Okay, so think about, where is your energy being spent? If your energy is being spent on random admin tasks that aren't getting you return on investment, then guess where your energy is going to go? It's going to go quite flat. It's not, you've got to think about income generating activities on a daily basis. And, sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's hard to think, well, I know I should be focusing on generating more sales, but it's really hard. So I'm just going to focus on all the easy stuff in my business. Like, I get it. I've been there, done that, and sometimes still fall into that trap. It's too difficult. I'm just going to focus on the easy things. But it's sometimes the difficult things that actually will get you the bigger return on investment. And once you've done them, you'll feel so much better. So give yourself a reward. Think about the reward cue habit cycle. You know, if you want to start creating and developing new habits, you want to start giving yourself a reward in order to create that habit in the first place. And some of you may have experienced this. Maybe if you start going to the gym, for example, you soon fall off the bandwagon because there's no reward at the end. So think about what reward you could give yourself by tracking these numbers. And let me know in the comments as well, like out of those 10 things, which ones would you say you're great at tracking, or which ones do you think, I'm maybe not tracking that right now? Maybe you've got another number that you track in your business that you think is really important. And I'd love to hear what numbers are you tracking specifically in your business? So I'll just run through those 10 again. So number 1 is your conversion figures. So where are you converting the most sales? Where is your focus needed? Number 2 is where your leads are coming from. Number 3 is your organic social media growth. Where are you getting most traction right now? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Where are you getting the most traction? Number 4 is website traffic. Where is your website traffic coming from? Number 5 is your email metrics. So what are your click rates? What are your open rates? Maybe do some split testing. Which ones are working really well? Number 6 then is your daily sales. Number 7, daily expenses. And number 8, your reoccurring income. What's going to give you that stability of income during periods where maybe you have ebbs and flows in cash flow? Number 9 then is your return on investment analysis. So I would do this weekly. So reviewing my expenses that I've been tracking daily and thinking, do I need to keep this? Is it a good return on investment, or do I need to think about changing it or cancelling it? And then number 10 is focusing on your energy. Where is your focus? Because where energy flows, attention goes. So let me know in the comments, which was your favorites? Which one has made you think, okay, I'm going to start tracking that from now on? Let me know if you have any challenges around tracking these numbers, because I think for me, it's very simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. You can get this information very easily, and even go back and do this work on your business for the last few months. Maybe you could get a virtual assistant to go back through your numbers, contacting your clients and asking them, where did they hear about you? What emails are working particularly well? What expenses are draining your bank, your cash flow? Where are you getting the most amount of traction? And actually, there's a book called Traction by Gino Wickman, I think it is, and it's a great book. And in that book, he also talks about getting traction in your business, what numbers it's important to track. Very different from the ones I've shared with you today. And there are lots of other numbers to be tracking as your business grows and develops. But if you're in the early days of your business and you're just setting up, or you're in the first few years, getting strong financial foundations with your numbers in your business is really super important. So I hope you found it useful. Please let me know in the comments whether you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, which was your favorite out of the 1 to 10, which was your favorite? So I hope you enjoyed today's YouTube video. And if you did, can you do me a huge favor and leave me a comment below and let me know which of those 10 steps that we talked about in the video have been your biggest takeaway. And as I promised you at the start of this video, I had a little something extra for you. So if you'd like to understand how I use sticky notes every single week to think about how I can improve the ebbs and flows, the cash flow challenges in my business, you can head over to katherinemorgan.com/cashflow, and there you can download a free checklist with my little sticky note exercise. It's a bit of fun, really. It's quite simple, but it will really help you to focus on taking yourself out of the overwhelm and getting out of those periods where we're in constant ebb and flow of cash flow. So I hope you enjoyed the free download, and please make sure you hit the subscribe and like button, so we will see you again next week. Thanks for watching, guys.